Hello, everyone, and thanks for stopping by to check out the features in this very first iteration of the JetBrains IDE plugin. As part of this very first iteration, we just wanted to, get all the project set up and add some very basic functionality in the IDE, just rad push, rad sync, pull, and make those actions available for developers to use through their JetBrains IDE. Let's start with installing the plugin. The easiest way is to just head on over to the marketplace, JetBrains marketplace, and download it manually and install it manually. For now, because we're still on the alpha channel, so installing through the IDE, if that's what you've been doing, isn't quite so straightforward. You would need to add an additional plugin repository. So just the kind of simpler version is to just head on over to the JetBrains marketplace and download the latest version. Once you click the download, you'll get the instructions as well here, in case you don't want to follow these ones on the. But let's switch over to the IDE so we can go ahead and install the plugin. You go to the settings and you find the instructions to install the plugin from disk, from the file you've downloaded, and you give it a minute to do its thing, install the plugin, enable everything. Now, the very first thing you want to do is, because this IDE plugin requires the Radicle CLI, the very first thing you want to do is head on over to the settings, to the version control section, where there's a new section for Radicle, and you want to pass here the path to the Radicle CLI executable rad. To find that on your system, you can probably type which rad, and you can find the installation location here. Add it. There's a test button here to verify that everything is good. It's important to note that you need version at least 0.60, which has this -1 version option. You can verify that like that. Once that is set up, you can, on a Radicle initialized project, which is the project will need to be Radicle initialized already. This functionality to initialize a project is not yet available through the IDE. It's coming up in a future iteration. Then once you have a Radicle initialized project, you have these extra buttons here in the Git section. You can also rad sync and push and pull. And also in the Git menu, there's a Radicle submenu right next to GitHub, where you can you have these same options available.
Okay, now let's go see a bit of this functionality in practice. Let's go check out what rad push looks like when we do that through the IDE. To do that, again, we'll need a Radicle initialized project. I've just started, very basic, just a very basic Git repository with just a single file and just one commit. So we'll go ahead and rad initialize this project. So this will be my personal blog. Let's push that to the seed node as well. Okay, and we have this available. If I can pick the whole now. Okay, so we have this available now. Let's go ahead and open this in the IDE. And now adding some content, now some breathtaking piece of news. And we are committing as we normally would, using the shortcuts as most people do. Adding a descriptive commit message, of course. But it's very important to always explain why the commit is happening. And now using the shortcuts, usually most people, they commit and push, which is one of the options available here. Command K on Mac OS. And what's happening here is that we can see the rad remote that's been already set up for us. So we can push, and what the and now that we've git pushed now, but in the Radicle world, this only pushes this code change to the mono repo, to the local mono repo, and this is somewhat different to what happens when people commit and push on GitHub, for example, or GitLab, or any other project. They expect their code to already be on the other. On the remote, on the actual remote. So what we've added here is a hook that informs the user that this is a Radicle initialized project. So just checking whether we should always rad sync as well. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And what's happening? This sync is happening in progress. And this should have actually synced the change to the seed node. To verify, we can use the same Git console, where we can also see all of the Git commands. This is what was invoked through the when we followed the UI to commit and push. And we've also added there the output from the invocation of the rad CLI commands as well. So there's a nice kind of debug console here for tracking down issues. So now we can head back to the browser to verify that this piece of content, this new commit has been made available. So let's do that here, where we now see two commits, both commits, the one already from the command line and also the second one from the IDE that we added together. So hopefully that clarifies a bit the functionality in the IDE. For rad push in particular, it's similar with rad sync and rad pull. One of the great things is that you can also add the shortcuts to these actions, or use the command to find them, the search all command to find them, and using alt tender we can also assign shortcuts for a kind of smoother integration into the development workflow.
This is just the very first feature set available in this very first iteration, which was mostly about getting everything set up and creating the project, putting up a CI in place, and adding these first few features. Our next iteration will add functionality so that you can also clone projects directly from the IDE. And yeah, we're looking forward to your feedback. If you get a chance to install this and try it out, please do let us know. If you come across any issues, you're very welcome to open issues directly on our GitHub repo, and we'll be happy to talk to you and address them. We're also on the Discord, so you can also reach out to us there. Yorgos on there, and yeah, that concludes this video. Thanks very much for your time. Have a wonderful day.